know what, you have to be focused. You
Mm.
have to listen to your thoughts. Be careful what you're going to say, because whatever that you say will manifest in the physical. So I refused to tell everyone that the test or the exam was difficult. I refused to declare that I'm going to repeat or I'm going to retake. So I was so focused. I was so collected and calm. And everyone was shocked to say, "Oh, you're not saying anything," but everybody's complaining. I told them that, you know what, I'm not going to complain about anything because this is the situation right now, but I'm happy for this because it's something that is pushing me to my destiny. So I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to be
Wow.
focused. I'm going to be principled, and I'm going to listen to my emotions, my thoughts, and my words. So I'm just going to say nothing to this concerning this issue.
Mm.
Yes.
Wow. And I must say that that's one of the best things to do, because I don't know if anybody remembered that session where I said you shouldn't worry over things you have no control over. Right? That would be dissipating negative energy. So, for instance, your exam has been written already. What else can you do? And any other evil thought will be to go and alter the result. Do you understand? So, it's been done. And at that stage, it's only imperative to allow the, the just so that the elements would to work in your favor. And maybe just so that I'll share a personal experience um, about an exam that I didn't sit for. But that's a bit strange, but I don't advocate that you do that. So in the days at the university, there were a couple of compulsory courses one needed to take. One of such was I think something around sciences or something like it was FSS, yeah, FSS 2. For whatever reasons, I missed the first exam, and it was a prerequisite for you to graduate. By the time I was in 200 level, there was an incident, and I couldn't just follow through with it. I think somewhere along the line in 400 level, something else happened. I was in a 4 year course, and I also missed the exam. It was clear that um, I wasn't going to, and that was the only thing I was going to be able to do from graduating. And I stumbled on a scripture back then, and so it's also tied to your faith. And I started to, and the scripture is somewhere in the days your walls shall be built. I'll fish it out now. In the days I'm trying to Google it out. In the days your walls will be built. Okay, these your walls will be. Yes, Micah 7:11. Like I said, this is not advocated, but I just needed to share an experience. So Micah 7:11 says that in the days your walls shall be built, every decree shall be far removed. So remember, I had a subsisting decree that there was no way I was going to, as in based on the school regulation and all that, that there was no way I would be able to graduate because I had not done that course. So that meant an extra year. And I took that scripture. This was not from even a point of knowing what I know now. And you know what? That scripture took me on a different level. In the days my walls shall be built, every decree shall be far removed. In fact, I started to practice this mystery of the one line prayer even before I knew what the mystery of the one line prayer is. Okay? I started to practice the mystery of the one line prayer. And so, you know that I walked around the almost the entire school. Okay? That must have been about, if not 15,000 steps. And you know the only thing I was saying? I was saying that in the days my walls shall be built, we shall be far away. In the days my walls shall be built. That was all I could do. And I just kept pressing. In the days my walls shall be built, in the tree shall be far away. I kept saying it more concerning this matter. In the days my walls shall be built, in the tree shall be far away. Anyway, When everybody was anxious to go to the notice board, because then they would paste the results out. I had no results. I've not sat for the exam really, only for me to see my name on the graduation list. I said, how is that possible? Now I went down again to drill down on my, because you also get your test scores. Uh, this is an exam I did not sit for. So whoever sat for that exam, for all the best. But I saw 42 in this course. I don't know how it happened. I did not go and meet anybody. All I just know is that I raised up, a declaration that in the days my walls shall be built, the decree shall be far removed. That's the only time I've ever tried that. So was it a fluke? It definitely wasn't a fluke. Right now, I know the mystery of the one-line prayer. In fact, I turn it into the mystery of the one-line affirmation. So maybe I just release this to you and say, you know what? You could just go that concern, just find a word or something that resonates within your heart. That my own story will be different. And maybe you don't want to do up to 20,000 or 60,000. I can definitely tell you it's going to come out good. And you will not be.
Amen.
Right. All
Amen.
right. So that's free. That's free of charge. Okay. So anybody wants to share what experiences have been like on this journey? So please unmute and let's hear what has been happening. It's about daring and taking steps. Okay, daring and taking steps. Daring and taking steps. So what has happened? Keritiwe, yes.
Good evening, colleagues. I
Evening.
want to share that after this morning session that we spoke about gathering around the table, I got invitation to go and meet a possible partner who
Okay.
invited me to come and work with him. And I only saw this person once, which was on Saturday. Remember, on Saturday, I was invited for hunting.
Yeah,
And the
for dinner, yeah.
Yes, the owner of the farm invited me today for dinner. And when I was
Oh,
there, actually proposed partnership with me on the training and the events thing. So
oh,
I remembered the session of this morning that we need to have an impact when we are at the table.
correct,
We need to leave a mark.
correct.
So yeah, that I left a mark on Saturday, and then I was called today to sign an SLA to partner with this guy. So yeah, I had a nice meeting, which was very short because I then had to rush for my session. But yeah, thank you very much
Well,
for for for,
well,
for
well,
that.
great. And these are repeatable things. So you see, principles are things that you can repeat anywhere such that
Mm.
they would always, yield. So maybe before you were not intentional and deliberate about it, but now you're more conscious about you need to also have, this drive. Someone is saying congratulations, yes, or it did say says congratulations. And I'm saying congratulations also. Truly, this is good news. And yes, let's get this going. The happier, the
Thank you,
merrier.
thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So any other person wants to share their, you know, want to share how your day has been, what's been happening, how is this reinvention journey um, going. So apparently, starting from tomorrow up until the end of this, you have specialized guests showing up. So if you have any questions for me now, today is like just ask, and then whatever, because we're going to have personal finance on Wednesday. We're having the academic and career uh, education is on Thursday or Friday. I'm sure we're having either Caroline Pukola or Felix Achibe, and then they would also swap on Saturday or Sunday. So on Saturday we're done. So please ask your questions if you need clarification. This is almost like we're wrapping up now. Tomorrow is what, the 18th, and we're going to be talking about how to walk the net, what people call networking. Okay. Networking in this time is basically at best people gathering contacts, taking pictures with people. But there's much more. There's a science to, walking the net. even when you gather, the contact and gather the fish. And I'm going to be unveiling that tomorrow morning. But essentially, one of the things that makes this particular session for me important is that it seems to be the how do I say it? Sometimes easily despised. This can alter several things. I've had people lose, and based on my own story, I've had people lose or break up at the table in terms of relationships. I've had people break up even in terms of partnerships. You could just say certain things. I don't know if anybody is familiar with the way the Chinese they do some of their things. So you go to Asia and you want to go and consummate a business. The first thing that happens is that you would never even get to start to talk about the business. What they try to do is to test your appetite. Then they first want to take you out to eat. The next thing they want to take you out to have fun. You just want to see, how you are disciplined at the table, how you respond, because if you are also not disciplined about how and what you eat, you really also is really a reflection of how you also will live your life because you are what you eat basically. So this is one key area, and I also thought to share a few more tips, hoping that because sometimes people don't have a way of saying these things to you. And so I'll share about a few basics, hoping that maybe one or two persons can learn a few things. Because sometimes it's just like if someone has a body odor, you hardly have anybody um, tell you that you have a body odor. I can tell you without a doubt because people are probably scared or they don't want to embarrass you. But okay, so personal hygiene, can you use a deodorant for goodness sake? Okay. But you know, now if people don't tell you and you don't know, what happens is that you'll probably be living that way until you get to the point where there's somebody that is irritated and it would, transfer that aggression on you. And you'll be wondering, what did I do? The guy doesn't just like me. Now, he's also not able to express himself or herself, but somehow you've gotten the heat from, lack of an understanding of your personal hygiene. Okay, that's also the same way the table manners critical and essential. Okay, and one of the things that you cannot joke with, and I'm going to be sharing some basics, and let's all even talk. Let's even have a tete-a-tete. Is that you have people when they are eating, they open their mouth eating. Okay, please, if you fall into this category, now this is not a reprimand. This is like, can we even get real? Okay, and remember, we're inventing ourselves. So can we even know what to do right and what is wrong? So please, if you open your mouth while eating, can this be the end? Can today be the end of such? So when we eat, with fingers, unless it's finger food, and so be careful. It's okay to eat with your fingers only when it's finger food. And you start to eat every other thing when it's not finger food, like chips, like pizza, like when you have what do you call this chicken that is buffalo wings and the rest. It's almost like it's good. In fact, if there's the highest level of etiquette, you should imbibe a royal etiquette. And you might think that hey, who gives a hoot? But I think that somehow it just also shows you or reflects who you are. Okay, because if you start to act royal, people will begin to also respect you because the way you treat yourself and the way you act around what you do plays a lot in the kind of attention you get. And so don't make it like you are pretending because by the time you make it a lifestyle, then you don't need to struggle through it and it becomes part of you. And for that, people will value you. Okay. Another thing that we people usually do, people usually do it, and I usually also used to do it before I knew, is the fact that when you go for a dinner, you need to hang your napkin on. But sometimes people leave it on their laps. How? What? Ask yourself, what's the essence of the napkin on the lap? Right? The things that we do, how we learn those things, I do not know. But there's no napkins on the lap should not be, okay. Um, not just not be just note that now mentally. If it's not on your neck, what is it doing on your lap? Is it to prevent the things from spilling on your lap? I really can't understand that. Now, there's one that I'm sure a lot of people are also guilty of. Um, so just even before you taste any food or any meal, or you even go on any, so it depends on, so you probably are taking, before they give you, say, a hot chocolate drink, or you are taking a cappuccino. Um, so if careful not to first ask for uh, sugar, all right, before you taste. The same thing for food also. If a meal is being served, you know, don't get into that mode of quickly asking for salt or pepper, all right. Why don't you taste and then be able to now request? It also shows that it's like almost sending a signal that you're not confident that they would have met your your taste requirements. All right, these are subtle signals that are very, they send wrong messages depending on the environment that you find yourself. And knowing that we're all being reinvented for greater exploit, be rest assured that um, you also will not know how valuable some of these things are. One of the things I try to do with my team is to at least get to the table, just so that we can even savour the food. And it doesn't, even I do that with my children. So it won't be that it will be food that I want to use to win you over now, because then people get carried away. Another thing you must do is that when you want to pick up any item on the table, okay, once it's past your hand, please always ask whoever is close to help pass, all right, and stop crossing people's food or crossing plate. How people do these things, you don't even want to understand how. And you see, I'm telling you, to the guy that is wary of you crossing his meal, all right, that guy will be bitter. So, in fact, even if you were saying the most brilliant things on the table, because the fact that the guy, you've just crossed the line, and the guy probably doesn't want to, spoil the mood of everybody on that table. He will just abort that thing, and you will just be surprised he's not even listening to you, and you crossed his meal. And so can you just know now that crossing other people's meal on the table just probably isn't the best thing. You could get the wrong response, all right? Particularly when you're the one looking for a business or an opportunity. So be wary of that. And ask before, taking a serving, because that's when you're on the table, but not when you're going for a buffet. Constantly ask. I'm sorry. Is it okay to take from? Because it's just courtesy. Um, if there's anything, I was sharing with a colleague one day. I saw a lady, um, and this is not about table now. I was talking to her, and guess what? She needed to use the ladies, but she couldn't stop me from talking. But then at some moment when she got so pressed, you know what she said? Please, do you mind if I use the ladies? I was shocked. You know why? Because that kind of thing is rare. But what does that even tell you? Are we careful or we're careless? So sometimes people are not even bothered about how they portray or reflect themselves in society. But I'm just saying that you can't go on a reinvention journey and not take cognizance of some of these things. These are like some of the soft skills that will differentiate you. Because if you say you have been reinvented, you're almost like rough diamond that has now been polished. Okay, so we're talking about a spiritual polishing. We're talking about a physical orientation and polishing. We're talking about a mental enhancement and polishing. All right. So it also reflects on even your manners, your attitude, because all of these things also, are part of the things that form your external, that people have perceptions over. And at that point, it also reflects what, they give back to you. All right. That's it. So please, also, the napkin is meant to be used. So it's not for your laps, number one. Also note that it's meant to be used. Always use the napkin. If you need to clean something, use the napkin. At best, get a serviette. Okay? But use the napkin. Don't get scared. You see, poverty is a problem. Sometimes you can see those nice linen napkins. And because you believe that, ah, God, open our minds. So, you know what? Sometimes just give yourself a treat. You know that in standard hotels, what they use as a rag is a white rag, clean white rag. But you know that most times people don't use those rags. Why? Is that in their mind, they believe that everything dirty should be used to clean dirt. Do you understand? Can you cure yourself of that? You say no, or you go and use rag. So that rag I'm telling you, standard hotels, it will be white. Why? Why is it white? Okay. So also be confident to use the napkin. All of these things might also, what are we even talking about? Are we not talking about it? This is part of reinvention. Okay. Another thing you mustn't do is doing and you are talking with open mouth. You we get into that. Yes, you are supposed to converse at the table. Can you chew or kind of hold the napkin to your mouth to the extent that, okay, you're also trying to, if it's that urgent for you to say it, not just be, being meticulous, being cautious, being circumspect. That's the word. Being circumspect. Let me try and get what circumspect and define it, the meaning of circumspect. It says that wary and unwilling to take risk. All right. But being circumspect is that you are guarded to the extent that you also don't want to get to create some friction in the other party. Um, and we're making some quick progress now, and I'm going to be out of your faces soon. So no bopping. People do a lot of that. Please, those things are rude. If you're a guest, eat what is said. Don't complain. Just don't complain. And then, yes, this is what one of the comedians I know in Nigeria will say. This is the baba of them all, and I think a lot of people are guilty of this. Don't keep your elbows on the table. It's don't keep your elbows on the table. So guys, this is just it's just a way of saying, look, we are prepared for reality, and because of the places we are going to go, based on the vision that we have of the future, then we must also have that loyalty embedded in us. And it will not just be by affirmation, it will also be by action, right? By attending to the way we respond. Okay? And what's responsibility? Is that you are responding based on your ability. Now, if you have not created the ability, how then do you want to be responsible at the table? Okay, I have people that have missed several chances with some of these little things. It says little foxes destroy the vine. These little things, I can tell you, and just take note. You've heard it today, and then just take note that at some point you see how people's attitude will change to you, particularly when those people are at that level. Except you want to keep moving with mediocres, you can then throw this away and say, look, who gives a hoot? But the reality is that if you are careful and guarded in the way you also interact, it will help in your relationship. It will help even in your consummating businesses. All right. It will also give you some, is the guy, let me tell you something. Is the guy, they say something, is the guy that knows that people defer to. By the time you said, a lot of people are ignorant. And in that ignorance, they project noise. So you could get to a place where people don't even know these things, but they would notice that you are calm about how you are doing these things, and eventually you will soon realize that you have started to get, you the attention that you deserve. So manners, in terms of the table manners, in terms of even etiquette, is your part of your reinvention journey. So you cannot throw it away. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people have learned a few things and have been blessed. It would be nice to hear your thoughts. But remember, all through this week, ending on Saturday, as we end with the celebration chapter, it's going to be all our specialized guests. They're just going to be coming in. So we have a personal finance person coming in tomorrow. If you look, I can tell you, there's no way you attend that class. You would have a rethink as to how to order your finances. I've been in one of those sessions, and I can tell you, this lady she's one of the asset management managers in Nigeria, in Abuja precisely. She's written tons of books on personal finance. You don't want to miss it. We have Dr. Mubalaji Abisoye also joining us. That lady, but you begin to ask yourself, how can I also now reposition my career, for expert, So she'll be talking about how to reinvent your career academically, even along those lines. Then we also have a Felix Achibi. Felix Achibi will be joining us. That's one man that I think at the age of 31, he picked up his first check of, and that was back then. He picked up his first check of £1 billion. And the first thing he did when he picked up that check, uh, he for 3 days he couldn't sleep. The money is crazy, and this was like almost like how many years ago? Let's say almost about 20 years ago. So, billion naira check, billion naira check, billion, 1 billion naira then, and that must have meant. Um, Let me not even do the conversion based on inflation and all that. And when he picked up that check for 3 days, he couldn't sleep. Then let me tell you what he now did. One day he got to the bank and went to withdraw 20,000 naira. That's like imagine having $1 billion, then you can withdraw $20,000 just to confirm whether or not. And then he got there, he was asking the cashier that, please, can I withdraw? You know, he couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it. And that's how also some of us, somehow maybe we can be exposed to wealth and we just not even understand that we're already and he has grown that consistently and, strategically also invested in several other places. This was a guy that after the time I did some job for him, he just said, Taiwo, two things there. I can't pay you well enough. So he gave me a brand new car. The next thing, he also gave me shares in this company. So I need to let you understand that this is not just anybody. He's going to be sharing, and this guy was not privileged, he, but he will give you the raw meat. You don't want to miss that other system. I also have Caroline Pupola. Caroline Pupola will be joining us from the UK. Caroline was a reject when she was in Nigeria. When I say reject, he, 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 he couldn't, they sent her to the UK to save face for the family because she failed all the exams. She failed all the, can you imagine? She failed all the exams. So in a bid to save face, an affluent family, the mother said, you know what, you not ruin my name, you not bring shame to me. It's better you go to that UK. So they sent her to the UK to just go and waste her life if she wants to. And then she got there. It took about 4 or 5 years before she got back on track. Now she has 14 nurseries in the UK. 14 nurseries. This is not, I'm not talking about, do you know what it takes to run a childcare system in the UK? If you know the quality and the standards that they keep, then you know that it's no mean feat. It's not like they are running nursery maybe in Nigeria. I'm telling you, and then this woman, a reject, they didn't give her a chance. And she's going to be sharing with us. And so I'm sure by the time all of these people fire us with their inventions today, these are not, and I'm telling you, these ones I'd prearranged them before now. So be rest assured that this is not even a fluke. This is not by happenstance. These are pre-planned. And that I know that on this reinvention journey, we will be positioned to help us pivot, as the, is it pivot or pivot? You guys know now. But you would now go to a new dimension, not just even a new level. Okay. And it will be so evident that by the time we are done, when we say we are doing celebration, because on the last day, that's chapter 21, coincides with our theme for that day called celebration. We're going to be celebrating. You've made new friends, so please connect with people. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're just going to be bubbly, the biggest virtual party you want to have. You tell everybody, even those that are not part of it, let them come and let's just have a good time. All right. So, any questions, any thoughts? If you don't have your workbook, please contact Joanna. You need to have those. I was going through, I noticed that I deliberately kept quiet on the workbook because maybe people felt, so get your workbook. That workbook is, that's your manual, not even the book. Get your workbook, okay? And then the book becomes a guide, all right? There are also a lot of things that we're going to be unveiling, and I'm sure that you just must get ready. You just must get ready. Yeah, so get in touch with Joanna. She's in the group, or you see the admin in the group, in that group, or contact your group head, to give you insight. So questions. I need to close this in the next 10 minutes. So this is 7:38. So I promise you by 7:50. So questions, comments, and either testimonies. Please. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Are we good? Or mute to speak or ask or even suggest?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Ruru,
Hello.
how are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Ruru.
I'm fine, thank you. First of all, yes, I haven't gotten my workbook. I'll make sure I do that this week. Yes. Then,
Great.
secondly, so far since last week, a lot of things have been going okay. Yes, there were some tilts, but it's still fine.
Great. Hey, great. You sound a bit low. I hope you're good. Ruru, we lost you a bit there. Okay. Whilst we wait for Ruru to reconnect, can anybody just stick on mute just to speak? And then maybe someone will be encouraged by what you share. Okay? Lady Ifyok. Hello? Lady Ifyok, how are you?
Hello.
How are you? Okay. Your network is erratic. So I'll just ask that you type your...
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Your network is a bit erratic. You let me unmute you again, and then let's see. So unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Okay. So anyone wants to say anything? What's happening? The house seems to be a bit quiet.
Hello, Mr. Tao. Yes, I've said something before when you started, but I wanted to give other people.
I'm fine, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, but I think something is wrong with your network. But if you are fine, then speak. Let's hear you.
Oh my.
If the network at your end, it's not, we can't hear you. I notice you're out. Okay, Origitic, can you quickly say what you want to say, and then let's get this going.
Okay. I wanted to say we really, really, not that I'm speaking on behalf of other people, but we really appreciate the good work that you are doing in our lives. This has been a very beautiful journey where we have just realized who we are, what we stand for, what we are looking for, what we want to achieve at the end of the day, and all the ingredients that are needed to make us the best versions of ourselves. And personally, I promise to continue the journey until the end of time, because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel younger and see life in a more different way, like I used to say it. I can see the beauty of life and appreciate everything that is around me, whatever challenges and problems and situations that I'm going through or that I've gone through. I am now able to have the whole thing that can say, you know what, you've never been a failure in your life. You still have a chance. You can dust yourself. You can move on. You are great. You are wonderful. You are everything. So thank you so much for this beautiful journey. Yes.
Thank God. So is there anyone that wants to talk to the issues on the table, and how they think this has greatly helped them? Because once you know this, it also boosts your self-confidence. And that way, you also can reflect that positively on a table. So does anybody have any thoughts around this topic of discussion for today, the table?
Good evening, Mr. Taiwo.
Good evening. Kele Gole.
Yes, Keleborile. Yes, Keleborile from Botswana.
Okay.
Yes, I really, really, really loved this morning's session where you spoke about being at the table and being present while at the table, not just being part of the menu. I think what I liked the most is when you said that if you're not at the table, you're at the menu. I mean, it really, really, really got me thinking, because the menu is where people are choosing whether they want to have you or not. But if you are present and you are there to be part of the selecting panel from the people sitting around the table. And what happened is I really went to work fired up. And funny enough, we had a meeting with our director, and this is a new director for that matter. So it was our very, very first meeting with him. So we were asked to say what it is we expect from him and what it is that we'd like to see him achieve. And the whole room was just silent. There was no icebreaker. It was like people were frozen up. Nobody wanted to start. So as fired up as I was this morning, I took the bait. I remembered I can't be the menu. I mean, I'm at the table. I mean, I need to stand up. So I broke the ice. I stood up and, I made sure that whatever I delivered, it was going to stay with the director, especially as the first speaker. I knew that there was no way he was not going to, notice and remember what I said. So for me, it really, really got me fired up. And I'd really appreciate if you could share the video for this morning again, because I really, really loved it.
It's already in the group. It's already in the group.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. So coincidentally now, Kewitiwe also had a similar experience. It's just that ours was pre to that, and then she also affirmed to some of the things that the essence of today's meeting had probably also propelled. So, guys, somehow there's no coincidence, and I can tell you everything that has been shared in the boot camp, you will definitely meet it. If you have not met it before, you meet it again. And if before you met it and you did not know the body of knowledge that supports it, or there is a principle, you will come into the terms to know that this truly is what I need to do. So one more person, we have 3 minutes left. One more person or two, and then we'll just shut it down for today. Okay.
Mr.
Please,
Teo, I wanted to say, Kilebogile, the last speaker, I'm so happy because she's my boss.
Oh, okay, great.
So we
great.
are here she's my friend and she's still my boss. So it's very good for us to be here together so that we can go and do wonders.
Absolutely, absolutely, Ray.
That's good. That's fantastic. All right. I can bet that the organization will feel the pulse of what is going on. Any other person? Well, look at it, you've been very quiet. What's wrong? I hope you're good. I see the general in the house. Yeah. I see Malebo. Yeah, Kennedy, I see you. Ifeji, these ones are like, they just come in and go out. Solomon, are you there? Do you want to say anything about the insights around the table? We have 2 minutes left. I'd like to honor what we said. Solomon, Ifejesu, okay. Okay. So,
Mr. Taiwo, not that I want to repeat myself. I think the one thing that is probably not probably, but something that has always been an impediment to our confidence, as especially as women, is because when you stand up to say your piece, when you stand up to be at the table, people look at you like you are too forward, and this has really really held us back for a long time as women in power. We need to know that our power is in ourselves, like you always say, and we need to step up to the plate and not be afraid to be seen as the fast forward ladies, the one who thinks they know it all. It's not like that. It's just bringing yourself and making yourself present.
Absolutely. I know there's one thing about what you just said. You see, once you're attentive at the table, it will propel you to say the right things that will also generate the required attention for your elevation. So if you are not attending and they ask a question, if you are not attentive and they ask a question, what ultimately happens is that you will just go and say nonsense. Right? So also be careful. That's what we're saying. There's a rule to these things. Somebody will say something that will strike you, and then those things can be turned into a question. Those things can also be able to support whatever you're saying. All right. And then the person, there's no joy, no greater joy that the speaker gets, knowing that the speaker is being referenced. That, but remember you said this. And then, it just says, oh, okay. If there's anything that you've deposited into that person's what you call emotional bank account. And this all that we're talking about today, essentially on emotional intelligence, about respect for others at the table, courtesy, and these little things, you just make the difference. I promise I will be leaving 7:50. 7:50 already. Sorry, I can't take any more questions. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about walking the networking. But it's not just gathering contacts, taking pictures, having people on your phone list. Not that way. I'm saying you want to now bring out the fish from the net so that you can put it to good use. It's going to be interesting. It starts 6 a.m. as usual, West African time. Tomorrow evening, we're having the personal finance specialist. You're just going to have a changeover when it comes to your personal finance. I wish you all the best, and I'm saying, may the good Lord give you grace to sleep well soundly and also ensure that you're able to put all that you have learned to practice. Remember to journal gratitude and then pray, be silent, prepare for tomorrow. Sorry, guys, I need to leave now. I wish you all a good night. God bless.